Now the moment of truth, the assembly process. We start with just one cup. I have taken the 3.5 millimeter jack that I have soldered onto the JST wire. I've inserted the JST connector into the center of the housing. And now I'm going to take, this is 3 grams of polyfill. I'm not going to be super precise about this just because it's a giant pain. But essentially you're going to take this and you're going to try to fluff it out as much as possible to get it to expand and fill the cup as much as you can. There's not any level of real precision here or a particular pattern. You just need it to fit in here, and you need it to fit in here around the JST connector. So actually just for sheer convenience, I'm going to go ahead and connect these here. And then the polyfill goes into this chamber. It's going to be loose. It's going to be a giant pain in the butt to work with, but it will work. I may not have wanted to do that. I'm thinking about this. I don't remember how the actual assembly process on this. There's a method to the madness. Oh yeah, actually I'm going to try this way. So I have inserted the driver into the actual driver housing. As you can see, it's a really tight fit. If you soldered this in such a way that the wires are coming out really to the side, it can pop free or it can damage the solder. I had to re-solder one of these. It's a giant pain. In retrospect, I probably should solder them facing the other direction for this particular build. But anyway, so driver is in the driver housing here. It's going to fit into the gasket, the TPU gasket. And I think the directions actually have you put this in and then put the gasket in. I find it much easier to get everything to fit if the gasket is attached here. And then these will go over the top. So now I'm going to go ahead and attach the wire because we're going to be covering up the back. I don't know that it matters a lot the direction in which this goes in or the way in which it is centered, but like you want to make sure you get it in such a way that the cables aren't being really cranked around. And then as you can see the gasket, there are little cutouts above all of the screws, the screw inserts, and so you want to get those lined up so that it will actually fit in. I think last time I ended up having to pull some of the polyfill just because I couldn't get it to fit consistently. But yeah, so there you go. This is pull a little bit of the extra on the outside. So you can tell press it all the way down. It is actually a really incredible friction fit. I'm super impressed by how tight the tolerances are, how Brian got this as tight as he did. I'm going to just go ahead and go around and press in a little bit to make sure that the TPU gasket is all the way in, just because it will be it's a little more complicated to get the screws in if the gasket is not fully flat. Okay. Over the so this is the grill cover. We're going to put the other way around. The grill cover goes, there is a section or a side that has a slight elevation. That's going to go towards the driver. Then this ring has a bevel around the outside. This matches up nicely with a bevel on that. So these should friction fit quite nicely. Again, like, man, Brian just got this to fit so nicely. Everything fits neatly and alternating. So this grill guard fits underneath the retention ring. The retention ring fits neatly into the TPU gasket. I think there might be a little bit too much. Yeah. But the result is you get up with this really nice, tight, controlled thing. Then we're going to take one of our pad mounts. It's going to go over the baffle. We want to get it lined up. This also has, slight circular extrusions, so they're going to go. You want to try to get those lined up just because it'll be easier. And yeah, so it's going to screw in pretty nicely. This might be actually a little bit, I might need to pull some of the poly out, but we'll see how this works. And then we're going to go ahead and screw it in. We're going to take our M3 screws. Brian wants us to use 16-inch or 16 millimeter. I've got quite a bit of those. go ahead and put them in this handy dandy screw sorter. I may end up being short of 16s. I may have to grab another set. I really do appreciate, you know, the Fantic electric screwdrivers. They're useful for a lot of stuff. For this, because of how potentially tight it is, I really don't want to overdrive the screw, and this Fantic screwdriver I haven't had long enough to have a strong sense of what is the most, what the appropriate level of torque is for something like this. So I'm just going to do it by hand. You can certainly try whatever you would like to do. We're going to be screwing these in a star pattern. We want to get them tight, but not snug, but not tight. So I'm going to go ahead and just reline this up to make sure I'm getting actually into the TPU gasket hole. Yep. Getting a little bit of bite there. That's good. So I'm going to screw this down until it is close, and then I'm going to grab another 16-inch screw, and I'm going to do a star pattern in order to try to get the most get even pressure. I realize this is probably not the easiest thing to see. I've been trying to figure out what the best way to the best pattern is for, or the best way to film this kind of thing is. Am I getting any connection? I am not. So I want to make sure I get that really lined up. Yeah, there it goes. The first Ouroboros I made, also out of PCTG, I just hadn't figured out how to print it, and they were bad. It was a bad print, and none of the screws lined up, and it was an absolute nightmare. It took me, I don't know, 6 tries to get anything to go nicely. There it goes. I can tell I've spent all day working on my house, given how tired my hands are just doing this. But yep, so we're gonna like pop that in. It should be a pretty tight tolerance fit. Get it down nice and snug. Go to the next point on the star, and you can see I'm not screwing them all on the way in yet. I want to make sure I get as even a pressure as I can. The best way to do that is to not throw our screwdrivers, and I apologize for all the head movement. Yeah, it's going to be a question of, there it goes. You can feel it catch. Definitely a little bit tight, and I'll go through and clean up the polyfill that's coming out the edges. Polyfill is a giant pain to work with, as it turns out. And the last one, do the star pattern. Oop. Make sure that gets clicked in. Go ahead and get this one down nice and snug. Not tight, but snug. And then I'm going to just continue, go back around, still in the star pattern, getting all of these down to snug. It's nice that these actually are going all the way in. Again, my first Ouroboros, I could get them, I don't know, a third of the way in, most of them, and it was just a nightmare. Okay. Get this one cranked all the way down. Oh, that's satisfying. When the screws go all the way in, that's really, really satisfying. Good. And that leaves me with all of them are properly tightened. And again, I'm not going too hard. I don't want to crack the plastic, but I do want to make sure that they're nice and snug. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other side, and then we will do, we'll go ahead and do we'll tighten down the other side, and then I will show you how to put the foam and rings.